Hello there, World of Tankers, and welcome to the channel. I'm your host, Droodles, Blitz, and in today's video, I'll be playing in the Super Conqueror. I never realized this, but it turns out I never made a video on the Super Conqueror since update 9.1, even though this vehicle did get quite a substantial buff in two different ways. First of all, its hit points got increased from the 2450-ish, now up to 2579. That's actually a pretty big buff to the hit points, and it's definitely going to help out the vehicle on the battlefield from tanking more shells. But better than that is the armor. The Super Conqueror side armor got buffed by about 25 millimeters, and more specifically, the track wheel as well. Previously, the Super Conqueror, and it's one thing that I notably hated about this tank, was that every time you would poke, if you showcased your front track wheel, it would be penetrated and damage you at the same time, stopping you in place, causing you to use a repair kit, and then have to try to continue driving around the corner. It's just something that is a very similar nuisance with like the 215B. The difference is that the 215B isn't supposed to be a frontline heavy, because this tank actually has an incredibly powerful gun going for it. The Super Conq sacrifices that gun to have the better armor. So I'm happy that Wargaming finally realized that and actually gave the Super Conq the armor it deserves. I believe that right now the Super Conqueror is in a pretty good state. I would say that it's a very well-balanced vehicle. There's nothing necessarily, game-breaking about it, but it does have some really good statistics going for it. First of all, a pretty solid gun. It's got enough DPM to get the job done. It's kind of like the E5, but it actually has the pre-nerf levels of DPM. The Super Conqueror also carries great gun depression at 10 degrees, making it viable to work literally any ridgeline in the game. A very solid turret covered in spaced armor, meaning that HE shells are going to struggle to deal a lot of damage. HE actually does do some damage to the Super Conqueror turret, but still not as much as it would do to a normal T110E5. This vehicle does carry HESH because it's based off of other HESH firing vehicles. It's got the same type of gun as a Conqueror, although weirdly enough, even though the Conqueror and FV2 and 5B received a HESH penetration buff, the Super Conqueror did not. I'm actually surprised about that. I thought Wargaming was going to give this vehicle the buff as well. You'll notice the Super Conq has a pretty good power to weight. We're actually going the same speed climbing uphill as the WZ-113, and yeah, I mean, we're actually not that slow. People don't realize that power to weight is a very important skill, or not skill, but should I say statistic when it comes to a vehicle. Even though the WZ-113 can go 45, because the tank doesn't actually have the most amazing power to weight ratio, it's not actually going that much faster than me. So we got the Super Conq off to the side, and the FV2 and 5B 183, and I'm over here. Well, let's see if we can get a shell into this Leopard 1, and, well, the guy actually played it smart. We also got the 704 over here, and wow. Okay, well, nothing I can do about that. That was just bad luck, I guess. Alright, so we got the Yag Tiger, we got the Leopard 1. Let's aim it on the Leopard, and boop! There you go. Nice shot for 453. Nice little tap. At least we're dealing more damage than we've dealt, or dealing more damage than we've received is a better way to word it. Now, I'm a little cautious about that 704 because clearly that guy doesn't really care if he trades, but more cautious is what I want to be of the Chieftain Mark 6 and T57 Heavy. So let's put on my adrenaline and let's start badonkering these guys. This 57 is obviously going to deal a lot of damage, but I'm going to deal a lot of damage as well. There's a nice 507 tap into the enemy Chieftain. We're going to make sure that these guys are going to have a hard time dealing with me. There you go, another nice shot. And the Chieftain did actually get to cut through my hatch, as you can see. But again, that's really not going to stop me all too much because we've got such a nice gun on the Super Conqueror. We've already dealt 2,400 damage in this engagement, just showcasing where the fantastic DPM on this tank is able to do its job. So I'm actually not going to worry about those guys because I don't need to. I'm going to drive off to the side over here, maybe get some damage into the Yag Tiger or something over on that Spectrum. Ooh, how about a 518 damage HESH shell into the side of the Leopard 1? Yes, please. Okay, so we got the Yag Tiger off to the side, and that is some free HESH damage, if you know what I mean. The only thing I'm a little worried about is that 183. I obviously don't want to lose all of my health to him. So, yeah, I'm being a little cautious on that area. It looks like my teammate actually finished off the enemy as it is, so not too bad. Alright, well, you know what? Let's just drive over this hill, and let's get a free shot into that 183, back in the cover at the same time. We all know I don't want to be shot by that 183. There you go. The 183, I would guess, has fired, or not. Never mind. He just penned us with a 1200 damage HESH shell. The good news is at least these are the only 2 vehicles left. So even though we got badonkered, I'm not too worried, as we're able to HESH through the Chieftain Mark 6 and come out with a victory. A very, not so fun turn of events at the end of that game there. I thought that 183 had shot the WZ-113 because the guy lost 700 health. I don't have my headset on, so I didn't hear him shoot. But hey, we did 3,950 damage, and that was a pretty good battle. I mean, honestly, the buffs to the tank really... Oh boy, More Gaming's trying to sell me gold. But the... Wait, that's actually a really good deal. I just saw that. That's $2 for 2,500 gold. Okay, I'm probably actually going to buy that. That's not bad at all. But yeah... The buffs to the Super Conqueror probably wouldn't have helped me out whatsoever in that game because we clearly saw that, well, the armor didn't do much because we had our lower plate exposed, and yeah, we didn't really need the armor to do much because we just used the good gun. But there is one thing I wanted to point out, and that is the gun on the Super Conqueror. There's a lot of people out there that think the gun is quite atrocious. However, I am running Refined gun on the Super Conq, and what a lot of people don't know is that the Super Conqueror carries the best on-movement dispersion for a tier 10 heavy in the game. What on-movement dispersion is basically when you turn the turret, when you drive the vehicle, it will cause your gun to bloom. It will make your aiming circle larger. However, with a vehicle like the Super Conqueror, because it has the best in tier 10 for a heavy, it means that you can get away with running Refined gun instead of vertical stabilizer, and not only carry pretty dang good dispersion, but also have a pretty good aiming time while carrying it. It actually makes the Super Conq gun very enjoyable to use, and it's one of the biggest lifesavers I decided to change while using the tank a couple years ago. So, this battle, the enemy team has a 60 TP, an E100, and a mouse. They got a lot of heavies. We've got a E100 and a 5A, and as well an E3, and possibly the 183 could be pushing this way, so I guess we'll find out. Now, the tank I'm most worried about is definitely the 60. I feel like that tank, because it's a very aggressive playstyle, could just poke me and get a big ol' slap in. I guess that's also the case for the E100, but I don't know. The E100 just doesn't scare me as much as 60 TP players. Either way, we're going to be pushing up towards the front line. Now, I know that I'm faster than the 60 because of my good power to weight, and I know that I'm obviously faster than the E100. So right now, we're just going to be waiting at this corner. This is a spot that a lot of enemies do like to poke. If anybody goes to the other side, then I have my teammates there as well. The only bad news is it appears we have nobody... Oh, that's not very fun. Yeah, there was no point to really angle away from that shot. I'm just trying to think of what the best decision is here, because my heavies are only at one side, which is really, really bad news. Alright, well, let's see. We got the mouse over here, who didn't back up far enough, but I'm going to back up a lot, because I'm trying to still figure out what the heck I want to do in this battle. Okay, well, we got the mouse. He bounced me. I was pretty confident in getting a bounce from that mouse. What do I want to do here? We got the E100. I mean, we got a lot of tanks here, and there's the Ho-Ri pushing up, and I don't want to be shot by the Ho-Ri. So right now, I might lose a bit of health for doing this, but I'm going to cross. There you go. Our 5A's losing health pretty quickly, though, and our heavies really need to get their way over here. I actually don't know why our Leopard 1 is off towards this side of the map, if I'm going to be completely honest. I have no clue. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to sort of flank off towards the back over here. And hello, Mr. Leopard. How you doing? Nice 524 damage into you. Let's back up. Looks like this 5A is actually supporting me a bit. Thank you very much, bro. I appreciate it. We also got the 183 off to the side, which is a little bit more good news. Ooh, that's not going to be good for that guy. And I bet if I take a look at my 5A in a sec... Yep, just what I expected. Why would you cross that? That's such an obvious, like, you're going to bleed if you cross moment, and he still crossed it. Oh well. Good news is at least I'm holding off the enemy. That E100 just lost a huge chunk of his HP, which is also really good for us. And nice shot again into that E100. Unfortunately, because the Super Conq lower plate sticks out so far, looks like that 60 TP is able to connect a shell into us. But the Super Conq, as you can see, its armor is pretty good for side scraping. So that's exactly what we're doing with it here. We're side scraping, and, well, it looks like that enemy 60 TP bounced my teammate in the Super Conq, so let's get a nice pen into his lower plate. We're already up to 2,700 damage, and a very good example, again, is what I showed, is that the Super Conq's just really, really good now at side scraping because they buffed its overall side armor. There you go. Another bounce on my sides. You don't really expect to see that nowadays with this vehicle, but pretty nice slap as well into the enemy 60 TP. We're getting out some pretty juicy damage numbers here. Let's reload again. We got the mouse just showing me his entire turret cheek, which we're going to get a very nice slap into. And at this point, the mouse really doesn't stand much of a chance against us. Neither does the enemy 60 TP. So I'm just going to drive on up. Let's see if we can get a nice penetration into that mouse. We're not able to, but it seems like our teammates are. We're up already to 990 on the base capture here. But looks like that leopard actually managed to get a clear, which gave us another chance to get one more shell out. And there you have it, ladies and gents. We definitely could have dealt more damage in this battle. But hey, this was a 4,000 damage game, and it went on base capture. A pretty good battle as well to showcase the new side scraping capabilities. Because Wargaming buffed the side armor of this vehicle by 20, it means that now you can actually get away with side scraping against 60s, against that E100, blocking 2,000 damage. I really like the Super Conq. It's definitely one of my favorite tier 10 heavies out there because of the fact that it carries Hesh. I mean, that's a big plus. The fact that it's got an accurate gun with refined gun. It's got a 0.318 dispersion. It's got really good DPM. Everything about the Super Conq is just super strong. I would actually say that if it comes out quite cheap, I will make a video talking about it. That's all I'll say. I wouldn't suggest to buy it because I don't know how much money cheap is for all of you in your imaginations, obviously. So I'll just make a video if it comes out and say whether it's worth it or not. But either way, hopefully you enjoyed today's video, and I'll be seeing you in the next one. Bye-bye.